trustee, liability, and how to protect yourself. That's our topic today. I want to share about understanding the liability of being a trustee. So we're going to talk about these topics. Your fiduciary duty, which means you don't want to commingle the funds, you don't want to do anything that's fraudulent. The personal liability that you could be taking on. What are your best practices to minimizing risk to you, including acting in good faith, following the trust document to the letter, very detailed record keeping, and seeking professional advice. Hi, I'm Kim Ward. I'm a real estate broker in beautiful San Diego County. What our team does here in beautiful San Diego County is we help trustees, executors, and administrators with homes in a trust or in a probate. We help to prepare, market, and successfully sell homes, making things as easy as possible on our clients. So let's get started. First, you want to understand the liability as a trustee that you may be taking on. Let's talk about fiduciary duty. You have an obligation to act in the best interest of the estate and the beneficiaries. As you read through the trust, you'll see that you do have a lot of responsibilities, and as you take on those responsibilities, you'll see them grow. That's where you need some people to help you. You want to be really careful of any kind of breach of your responsibility. That could be commingling the funds, which sometimes is called self-dealing, or any kind of negligence when it comes to the trust. And any negligence throughout the trust, throughout your responsibilities. Your loved one drew up that trust, probably with an attorney, and that's what you have to follow, their wishes. Let's talk about the personal liability. These are circumstances where a trustee could be held personally responsible. One of these scenarios are once you are accepting offers and negotiating offers, there's documentation here in San Diego. They're the California Association of Realtor documents that will protect you. There's a certain document that lets your buyer know that you are acting as the trustee of a trust, and that will limit your personal responsibility with the sale of the home. You want to make sure that document is completed fully, meaning that you sign it and your buyer signs it, and that way it's fully executed and you're protected more. There are legal consequences to breaching your fiduciary duty. So for instance, if you would take some of the funds from the trust, meaning maybe closing a bank account and then putting those funds into your personal bank account, that is commingling, that is a breach of your fiduciary duty. Be sure that you don't do that. What you want to do is get an EIN, which is a number that replaces your loved one's social security number, and you want to open up a specific bank account that will be for the estate, and you'll move the funds from your loved one's personal account into that account. Then you can work out of that account to pay any bills such as utilities or a mortgage payment or even a gardener. Let's talk about acting in good faith. You're always going to want to act with honesty and integrity when being the trustee of your loved one's estate. When you make decisions, you want to make them in the best interest of your beneficiaries. And you want to document any decisions that you make and why you made them. Now, not for teeny tiny little things like paying a gas bill or something like that. It's for big decisions that you choose to make. You want to make sure that you document the significance of that decision. And again, you want to follow that trust document. You want to adhere strictly to anything that's laid out in the trust document. And if you have questions about it, if you don't understand it, go back to the attorney that drew up that trust, or if you have a specific attorney that you trust, that's the person you want to speak with so that you make sure you don't make any errors. Of course, you want to regularly review the trust and make sure you're adhering to what your loved one drew up. And again, consult the trust document before making any decisions and moving forward on anything that you are not sure about. Here's a story about Jane, who followed the trust of her aunt. She was very careful about reading through the trust and following what her aunt's wishes were. The trust clearly said that it was to be divided, the estate was to be divided between her aunt's 3 children and to be divided equally. except that she ran into a problem with her cousin Mark, who said that his mother had said that he could buy out the other beneficiaries, and he said at a discounted price. Now, if he was doing it with fair market value, that's a whole other video, but he was saying that she clearly said he could have a discounted price, which would mean that Mark would get more from the estate than his siblings. Mark had lived with his mother for many years, and he had a true sentimental attachment to the home. So Jane was facing a dilemma. She wanted to honor her cousin Mark's wishes since she knew that he had lived in the home for many years, but she also had to follow the written trust. And again, she had to act in the best interest of all the beneficiaries, not just Mark. She did what I just recommended you do. She went to the trust attorney and asked for their guidance and advice. The attorney confirmed what she thought she already knew, which was that she was instructed through the trust to sell the home at fair market value and then distribute the funds after all expenses equally to her 3 cousins. Jane communicated this to her cousin Mark, explaining that this is what she had to do based on what his mother's wishes were in the trust. Jane also offered to help him find some financing opportunities, so if he wanted to buy the property at fair market value, he might be able to do that. She wanted to help him. By sticking to the trust, Jane fulfilled her fiduciary duty. She sought out that advice that she needed to make sure. And the good news is that Mark was able to obtain financing for the other 2/3 of the value, the current market value of his mother's home, and he was able to buy out his siblings and continue to live in the mother's home. Now let's go into detailed record keeping. It's so important to manage thorough and complete records. That way you're protected if anyone should question. Keep a log of communications with beneficiaries and also a log of any expenses that you make. If you're here in San Diego, we have developed an easy inventory collector. So if you're interested in that, please let us know and we'll reach out to you and get you a copy. And back to seeking professional advice as Jane did. It's important that you know when to consult for legal or tax advice or even a real estate broker like me to help you to understand the next steps and to make sure you're protected through that process. It's important that you're willing to seek out that expert guidance when it comes to complex situations. And of course, you want to make sure that any steps you take are legally compliant and financially sound. I hope you found this of value. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel because we're always adding content. Thank you for watching. See you next week.